Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom. Boom. Is it working? I don't know, right? Because it's not showing up here. Left, right? Let's see. Let's try something. Yeah, it barely registers. Okay, so it's kind of working. All right. So the next part is over here. Select stream. Refresh. That's me. That's me. Of course, excellent. Of course it's excellent. Let's see. Do. Papa, happy Sunday to you, by the way. Happy Sunday to you. Copy. Post. Paste. Next. Maybe I should do this on Facebook directly. But you know, then I will miss out on my Blue Sky peeps, right? Isn't there a way to watch this without like a YouTube account? Anyways, see, this should be all chat so everyone can see me, and I'd be like, yo, hello, everyone can speak. I reserve the right to moderate. Alright, there it is. Let's see. But I want to check though to make sure that the stream is going, right? So here, we gotta go over here like this, dashboard, because I'm not hearing anything, and the little register thingy doesn't really pick me up, so I don't know. Live, maybe it never did. Live, there's me. If I tune into myself, what do I hear? It's gonna be trippy. There's Play. Me. If I tune into myself, what do I hear? I hear myself. So it's working. It's working. It's working. What a world. All right, get rid of that. Man, there's so much open right now. Just get rid of it all. Oh, there's so much we have to look at, right? There's so much. First up, though, they're gonna deploy ICE to the airports. Whew, when you want to talk about like slow incremental steps toward fascism, that's a big one. That's a big one. Now air travel is regulated by the fucking regime directly, by regime goons who are not accountable to anybody. I mean, they're accountable to the regime's goons who are accountable to the regime. So yeah. What time is it? 9:34. They're taking showers. They're ready. They're ready. It's a Sunday, man. Time to speak the truth. Anyways, so there's all this bad stuff happening, right? I mean, like that's terrible, right? That's terrible. That's terrible that Donald Trump is deploying ICE to the airports to do the job of the TSA agents who are not getting paid. And they're not getting paid because the federal government doesn't want to reveal the identities of ICE agents and other such things. So instead of compromising with the Democrats and being transparent with the fucking agents who are enforcing all these questionable activities, instead of doing that, they're going to replace the TSA agents who are working for free right now, right? Because they're not getting paid. And they're going to replace them with ICE agents. Man, who, you know, are suing us so they don't have to, like, reveal their identity. So, right, that's kind of scary. But that's just this morning. There's so many horrors, right? There's so many bad things happening at the same time. I can't even keep track. I can't even do it. I can't even keep track. So here, what I was gonna do was start this rail line, right? We want to start a rail line. We want to start a rail line. Uh-huh. We want to start a rail line. Oh, yeah. Listen to me. What's up with this guy? 1, 2, 3, go. So, anyways, it's horror upon horror upon horror every fucking day. And, like, we didn't have to go here, right? It's not like we didn't know who he was or what he was going to do. Because way back in 2016, he was like doing his shady shit, and they caught him, and they were doing an investigation, and he won the presidency. And then the FBI, the head of the FBI agency responsible for doing the investigation into Donald Trump's dealings, James Comey, he refused to stop the investigation, even though Donald Trump asked him to 3 times directly asked him to stop. James Comey refused to stop. So Donald Trump fired James Comey. And then, and then right after they fired James Comey. Oh shit, hold on. Right after they fired James Comey, the head of the FBI agent, or FBI agency, responsible for investigating the Russia fucking connection between Trump and Donald and Russia, right? He met with the Russians. Images. I'm just gonna save that one. Save image as. Save image as. I don't need a fucking super one. I should have did this before, right? But like, I didn't think I was gonna go here. Save image as. Save image as. Save. So, okay, so Donald Trump fires James Comey right after, because James Comey wouldn't stop the Russia investigation into him, his campaign, and Russia. And then right after that, Donald Trump had the Russians come into the Oval Office. He kicked out all the American press and only kept the Russian press. So the pictures that we have are from the Russians. And I want you to look how fucking jovial Donald Trump is. Look how fucking jovial Donald Trump is. He's like genuinely happy and relaxed. When is he ever happy and relaxed? Fucking never. Never. But with the Russians, he's fucking super happy. Right, here's another picture of Donald Trump being super chummy with the Russians in the White House. Now, during this meeting, Donald Trump told the Russians, hey, it's okay, I fired James Comey, the head of the FBI. The Russia investigation is going to be over now. So there was a guy named Jeff Sessions who used to be who used to be the attorney general, but he got caught in a lie and had to quit. So so there was a deputy attorney general. Man, I'm gonna fucking kill his name or wreck his name until I look it up. It's really easy to look up, right? It's right here. Rod Rosenstein. Rod Rosenstein. Yep, that's him. Rod Rosenstein. He was the deputy attorney general. And he's like, well, shit, I gotta do something. And so what he did was appoint a special counsel to investigate the whole deal, right? The whole thing. And that special counsel who was appointed, his name was Robert Mueller. And he was a real by the books guy. Real by the books guy. He had fucking absolute faith in the institutions of the United States to take care of problems. All he had to do was create a fucking good product that they could refer to, and the institutions would fucking take care of everything. Do what it had to do. That's what Robert Mueller did, and that's how he operated. So that's what he firmly, firmly, firmly believed. Okay, so, and of course the report was devastating for Donald Trump. But Donald Trump's new attorney general was named William Barr, and he covered up the whole thing for as long as he could. And instead, he released a report saying the opposite of what Robert Mueller said. Like the opposite. He said the opposite. And it was so distressing to Robert Mueller that he wrote a letter to the Attorney General saying, hey, dude, I think you misrepresented my fucking report. Maybe you should, like, release the report. And so they finally released the report, but by then, Fox News had already spun up, like, all the denials and everything, so that everyone discounted what he had said. Well, finally, right? Robert Mueller was old, and he fucking finally died, right? Death comes for everyone. I'm not dead yet, but death is coming for me. I'm not dead yet, but death is coming for me. All right, anyways. Don't die on me. Come on, don't die on me, video card. Then this tweet came out. This was like yesterday, right? This was like right after I finished my stream. I found out that Robert Mueller had died, and this is how I found out from Donald Trump saying this. He's like he was glad that Robert Mueller died. So and he said, so you can't hurt innocent people, right? But Donald Trump's a crook. You can't, and he lies all the time. So infer the opposite. Infer the opposite. It's bad that Robert Mueller died. And he can't go after bad people anymore. Donald Trump's a bad person. Donald Trump's a bad guy. He's a criminal. So like you would think then, what's like the worst thing we could do, or the best thing, depending, to Robert Mueller? What's the worst / best thing we could do to Robert Mueller? We could fucking read his report and see what he had to say, right? Like people, he released this report, and after he released this report, people still chose to vote for him. So let's see what they voted for, right? Doesn't that make sense? Doesn't that make sense? Donald Trump thinks he's awful. Let's read the report. All right. But before we start, so this is the report on the investigation into the Russian interference into the 2016 presidential election. So real quick, I'm gonna do this. Oh, F12. Bop. That handy little deal right there. That is the volume 2 of 2. Anyways, that is the how do you say? Damn it. Table of contents. Let's just go through the table of contents real quick, right? Introduction to Volume 2. Executive summary to Volume 2. Background and legal evidentiary principles. Legal framework of obstruction of justice. Investigative and evidentiary considerations. Factual results of the obstruction investigation. The campaign's response to reports about Russian support for Trump. The president's conduct concerning the investigation of Michael Flynn. The president's reaction to public confirmation of the FBI's Russia investigation. Events leading up to and surrounding the termination of FBI Director Comey, James Comey. The president's efforts to remove the special counsel. The president's efforts to curtail the special counsel's investigation. The president's efforts to prevent the disclosure of emails about June 9th, 2016 meeting between Russians and senior campaign officials. The president's further efforts to have the attorney generals take over the investigation. The new attorney general, his own dude, William Barr. The president's order began to deny the president tried to fire the special counsel. Oh, you know what? Before I want to make sure I'm like not in danger here. I should probably like not start talking about this right now. Anyways, holy shit, man. Right. The president's conduct toward Flynn Manafort, redacted. The president's conduct involving Michael Cohen. Overarching factual issues. Legal defenses to the application of obstruction of justice statutes to the president. Constitutional defenses to applying obstruction of justice statutes to presidential conduct. Conclusion. So, just by the table of contents, we know Donald Trump was involved in some shady ass shit. And yet the American people voted for that anyways. Where should we even start? Introduction. This report is submitted to the Attorney General purporting to Beginning in 2017, the President of the United States took a variety of actions toward the ongoing FBI investigation into Russia's interference into the 2016 presidential election and related matters that raised questions about whether he had obstructed justice. The order appointing the special counsel gave this office jurisdiction to investigate matters that arose directly from the FBI's Russia investigation, including whether the president had obstructed justice in connection with Russia-related investigations. The special counsel's jurisdiction also covered potentially obstructive acts related to the special counsel's investigation itself. This volume of our report summarizes our obstruction of justice investigations of the president. We first describe the considerations that guided our obstruction of justice investigations and then provide an overview of this volume. First, a traditional prosecution or declination of decision entails a binary determination to initiate or decline a prosecution. But we determined not to make a traditional prosecutorial judgment. The Office of Legal Counsel has issued an opinion finding that, quote, the indictment of criminal prosecution of a sitting president would impermissibly undermine the capacity of the executive branch to perform its constitutionally assigned functions, end quote, in violations of the, quote, constitutional separation of powers, end quote. So, Robert Mueller was forbidden by a memo from the fucking Office of Legal Counsel from charging Donald Trump with a crime. I think that's dumb. I think that's really, really stupid. I think that's stupid. That's stupid. So from the outset, Robert Mueller could not charge Donald Trump with a crime. So Robert Mueller had to completely trust the institutions to remain apolitical in its in carrying out the logical next step. If he, the special counsel, could not charge Donald Trump with a crime, the president with a crime, then that would mean Congress would have to impeach the president. So what he was preparing was like a report to be read into the congressional record regarding the impeachment of the president. Without making the determination of guilt or the presumption of guilt, because he wasn't allowed to charge a crime. He wasn't allowed to. All right, so let's keep going. Right, Robert Mueller. Second, while the OLC opinion concludes that a sitting president may not be prosecuted, it recognizes that a criminal investigation during the president's term is permissible. The OLC opinion also recognizes that a president does not have immunity after he leaves office, and if individuals other than the president committed an obstructive offense, they may be prosecuted at this time. Given those considerations, the facts known to us, and the strong public interest in safeguarding the integrity of the criminal justice system, we concluded a thorough factual investigation in order to preserve the evidence when memories were fresh and to documentary materials were available. So he was saying that that since you couldn't get a sitting president, doesn't mean you couldn't get him after. You could still get him afterwards, when he's not president. And that's what they were trying to do, but Donald Trump slowed it down a lot, and the American people decided to go with him anyways. Right, so like Robert Mueller thought that a criminal investigation into a president would be a deal breaker for Americans, and he thought wrong. So let me keep going here before I'm playing too much Minecraft. All right. So third, we considered whether to evaluate the conduct we investigated under the Justice Manual standards governing prosecutions and declination decisions, but we determined not to apply an approach that could potentially result in a judgment that the president committed crimes. We did this on purpose. They did this on purpose. The threshold step under the Justice Manual standards is to assess whether a person's conduct, quote, constitutes a federal offense. The U.S. Department of Justice Manual fairness concerns counseled against potentially reaching that judgment when no charges can be brought. The ordinary means for an individual to respond to an accusation is through a speedy and public trial with all the prosecutorial protections that surround a criminal case. An individual who believes he was wrongly accused can use that process to seek to clear his name. In contrast, a prosecutor's judgment that crimes are committed but that no charge will be brought affords no such adversarial opportunity for public name clearing before an impartial adjudicator. So in other words, they're saying since we couldn't bring charges, they wouldn't be able to have a chance to clear their name. So we couldn't make any kind of judgment call at all, because they wouldn't have a chance to clear their name in court, because they couldn't press charges. So this concerns about and this is weird concerning about how the Department of Justice operates today, right now, under Donald Trump. They don't give a flip about any of this stuff. They don't they accuse Abrego Garcia. They accused him of being a gang member and of all these crimes with no evidence, and they lost all their court cases. But they dragged his name through the mud before they lost in court. And now they're still trying to deport him to Liberia, to Africa. They want to deport him to Africa. Not to Costa Rica, which already agreed to take him, and he would agree to go to. No, they want to send him to Liberia to punish him. See, like, it's so weird to see the Justice Department operate independently and then see it operate as an arm of the criminal enterprise of Donald Trump. Anyways, back to what Robert Mueller said, right? The concerns about the fairness of such determinations would be heightened in the case of a sitting president, where a federal prosecutor's accusations of a crime, even in an internal report, could carry consequences that extend beyond the realm of criminal justice. OLC noted similar concerns about sealed indictments. Even if an indictment were sealed during a president's term, OLC reasoned it would be very difficult to preserve an indictment's secrecy, and if an indictment became public, its stigma and opprobrium, I don't know what that means, could imperil the president's ability to govern. Although a prosecutor's internal report would not represent a formal public accusation akin to an indictment, the possibility of the report's public disclosure and the absence of a neutral adjudicatory forum to review its findings counseled against potentially determining that, quote, that the person's conduct constitutes a federal offense. Okay, right? Saying why they can't really, they have to be careful not to charge him. I got lost, man. I skipped too far. Where the fuck was I? Where was I? Oh god, I jumped way too far. Third. There's the fourth. That's the last one, right? Fourth, if we had confidence after a thorough investigation of the facts that the president clearly did not commit obstruction of justice, we would so state. So, if they were like, yeah, for sure this guy didn't do it. If that were the case, he would say so. If they could be like, for sure he did not do a crime, they would say so. They can't say that. So, based on the facts and the applicable legal standards, however, we are unable to reach that judgment. The evidence we obtained about the president's actions and intents presents difficult issues that prevent us from conclusively determining that no criminal conduct occurred. Accordingly, while this report does not conclude the president committed a crime because of the aforementioned reasons that he cannot, it also does not exonerate him. He is not exonerated. He has not been exonerated. He was not exonerated. I know Donald Trump likes to say, I've been fully exonerated. Bullshit. He's been under suspicion ever since the beginning. But the information just didn't penetrate into the brains of a bunch of Americans, mainly white Americans, mainly because it was short-circuited by cultivated racism, because racism has to be cultivated. All right. This report of our investigation consists of 4 parts. Section 1 provides an overview of obstruction of justice principles. Okay, yeah. Right. Keep going. Executive summary to Volume 2. Our obstruction of justice inquiries focused on a series of actions by the president that relate to the Russia interference investigations, including the president's conduct toward the law enforcement officials overseeing the investigations and the witnesses to relevant events. Factual results of the obstruction investigations. The key issues and events we have examined include the following: the campaign's response to reports about Russia's support for Trump. During the 2016 presidential campaign, questions arose about the Russian government's apparent support for candidate Trump, after WikiLeaks refused released a potentially damning Democratic Party emails that were reportedly to have been hacked by Russia, Trump publicly expressed skepticism that Russia was responsible for the hacks, at the same time that he and other campaign officials privately sought information from Trump associate Roger Stone about any further planned WikiLeaks releases. So remember, WikiLeaks is or was an information laundering outlet service used by foreign agencies to launder information that they steal and then they can publish without getting their own hands dirty. So the way they did this is through a persona called Guccifer 2.0. It wasn't one person. It was, but they acted as if they were one person. It was handled by a bunch of different Russian officers. Yeah, we know this, right? Of Russian officers, Russian hackers, Russian government hackers operated Guccifer 2.0. They hacked both the Republicans and the Democrats, but only released information on the Democrats after Donald Trump agreed to their demands. Remember their demands? Anyways, I don't want to get too far ahead. Well, hey, no. Let's do that real quick. Real quick. I want to just, because it's a nice little break. Is that the Trump deal or?
It strikes me there is a detail in your book, Where the Law Ends Inside the Mueller Investigation, that has received too little attention against the backdrop of Vladimir Putin's invasion of Ukraine. And that is that Paul Manafort, who you were responsible for prosecuting, met with a top Putin ally, Konstantin Kilimnik, and agreed to a deal that would essentially have enabled Putin to take control of the eastern part of Ukraine with Trump's approval. And Manafort had implicitly agreed to this. Why has this not gotten more attention against the backdrop of the invasion of Ukraine by Vladimir Putin?
So I don't know why it has not gotten more attention, but I had the exact same reaction when the war occurred and you saw what Russia was trying to do. I was like, yes, of course. We had in writing, we'd sort of captured some emails between Konstantin Kilimnik and Paul Manafort talking about this deal and saying what they needed to make this work was a wink from Donald Trump.
You want to see the wink? Here's the wink.
The C-SPAN networks bring you...
Not. Nobody knows who it is. But if it is Russia, it's really bad for a different reason. Because it shows how little respect they have for our country.
Get ready.
When they would hack into a major party.
Get ready. If
and get everything.
That's the start.
But it would be interesting to see. I will tell you this. Russia, if you're listening, I hope you're able to find the 30,000 emails that are missing. I think you will probably be rewarded mightily by our press. Let's see if that happens. That'll be next. Yes, sir.
You see what I mean? That was the wink. That was the wink. So, Russia and Donald Trump have made an agreement. Russia will help Donald Trump. Russia will help Donald Trump to win the presidential election if Donald Trump will agree to let Russia take Ukraine. That was the agreement. And you know the hacks that the 30,000 emails. Russia never hacked Clinton. He's that was just campaign nonsense. Russia never hacked Clinton. Russia hacked the DNC, and Russia also hacked the RNC. And they got John Podesta's emails. And when the Access Hollywood film or tape came out with Donald Trump saying, grab women by the pussy, which he actually fucking did to E. Jean Carroll. So it wasn't just talk, right? It wasn't just talk. That's the way he really is. And that came out. And then, so the Russians, through Guccifer 2.0, through WikiLeaks, released John Podesta's emails and tried to make a big deal about it. But there was like nothing in it. It was benign. But the whole point wasn't to be factual about anything. The whole point was to create confusion and sow doubt about Hillary Clinton. And James Comey, even though he was all like, "Oh, I'm not going to stop the Russia investigation. I'd rather fall on my sword than stop the Russia investigation." James Comey still, where's my fucking rails, dude? Oh, still reopened the Clinton investigation right before, like weeks before the election. So it's not like he's a saint, right? It's not like he's a good guy. Like he's partially responsible for Donald Trump being in power. Now, he'll claim innocence by saying, "Oh, my hand was forced because pro-Trump faction inside the White House would have leaked it instead of me releasing it cleanly and then closing it cleanly 6 days later." That's what he says, right? Do we believe him? I don't know. I mean, I can believe that there's a pro-Trump faction inside the FBI, because like, how do they overlook all these Russian connections, all these crimes for so long? The FBI has got to be corrupt, right? It's like people want to say it's they're the good guys. They're the good guys. Man, I don't know. Some of them are good, sure, right? But I bet you there's some dirty people there. Anyways, going back to this. So after WikiLeaks released politically damaging Democratic Party emails that, because they made a deal, right? Trump agreed to it. He made the deal. He said, "Russia, if you're listening, if you release like cyber stuff, you will be mightily rewarded." And then he covers it up by saying, "Oh, buy our press." But wink, 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 you know what he's talking about. Let me get this real quick. Okay. After WikiLeaks released politically damaging Democratic Party emails that were reported to have been hacked by Russia, Trump publicly expressed skepticism that Russia was responsible for the hacks, at the same time that he and other campaign officials privately sought information from Trump associate Roger Stone about further planned WikiLeaks releases. Because remember, Roger Stone was their contact with Russia through Guccifer 2.0, who were Russian agents. They're Russian government officials. The Dutch fucking hacked into their fucking cameras and took pictures of them, videos of them. That's why they were indicted. Like, it's amazing, right? It's amazing. Trump also denied having any business or connections to Russia, even though as late as June 2016, the Trump Organization had been pursuing a licensing deal for a skyscraper to be built in Russia called Trump Tower Moscow. After the election, the president expressed concerns to advisors that reports of Russia's election interference might lead the public to question the legitimacy of his election. Right? Of course. Now, conduct involving FBI Comey Director Michael Flynn. So, in mid-January 2017, incoming National Security Advisor Michael Flynn falsely denied to the vice president, other administration officials, and FBI agents that he had talked to Russian ambassador Sergei Kislyak about Russia's response to U.S. sanctions on Russia for its election interference on January 27th, the day after the president was told that Flynn had lied to vice president and had made similar statements to FBI. The president invited FBI Director Comey to a private dinner at the White House and told Comey that he needed loyalty. On February 14th, the day after the president requested Flynn's resignation, the president told an outside advisor, "Now that we fired Flynn, the Russia thing is over." Oh, it was Flynn. No, it keeps going. The advisor disagreed and said the investigations would continue. All right, next. Later that afternoon, the president cleared the Oval Office to have a one-on-one meeting with Comey. Referring to the FBI investigation of Flynn, the president said, "I hope you can see your way to letting this go, to letting Flynn go. He's a good guy. I hope you can let this go." So he's trying to get Comey to stop going after Flynn, which is to stop going after Russia. Shortly after requesting Flynn's resignation and speaking privately to Comey, the president sought to have the Deputy National Security Advisor, K.T. McFarland, draft an internal letter stating that the president had not directed Flynn to discuss sanctions with Kislyak. What? McFarland declined because she did not know whether that was true. And a White House counsel's office attorney thought that request would look like a quid pro quo for an ambassadorship she had been offered. Right? Damn, dude, all this stuff is shady. And remember, Republicans see this stuff and say, yeah, that's the kind of person I want to trust everything to. Like Michael, like think about the kind of people who would be okay with something like this. And because they voted for him again, right? They voted for him again. They were all about it, man. Half the people who voted, more than half the people who voted, want a criminal. They want a criminal. That's what they want. They're like, this guy's a criminal. That's what we want. We want criminals to selectively apply the law. To absolve ourselves of racism. Am I wrong? All right. The president's reaction to the continuing Russia investigation. In February 2017, Attorney General Jeff Sessions began to assess whether he had to recuse himself from campaign-related investigations because of his role in the Trump campaign. In early March, the president told White House counsel Donald McGahn to stop Sessions from recusing because Attorney General Jeff Sessions was Donald Trump's hand-picked guy to go along with the taking over of the Justice Department, right? Like, all this is Donald Trump's power grab is predicated on controlling the Department of Justice, and the way he does it is through the Attorney General. And Jeff Sessions was his hand-picked guy, but now is getting cold feet. I don't know if he's getting cold feet or that he's been caught and he doesn't feel confident that the administration is going to get away with what it's doing. So he's like giving up. Like he's folding before it goes on. He doesn't believe Donald Trump's going to get away with it. Jeff Sessions. So, let's see. After Sessions announced his recusal on March 2nd, the president expressed anger at the decision and told advisors that he should have an attorney general who would protect him. That weekend, the president took Sessions aside at an event and urged him to unrecuse himself. Unrecuse. Later in March, Comey publicly. Oh, no. It's not working. Oh, no. There we go. Publicly disclosed at a congressional hearing that the FBI was investigating, quote, the Russia's government efforts to interfere in the 2016 presidential election, including any links or coordination between the Russian government and the Trump campaign, which we know there is, right? We know. We have emails. We have the emails between the Russian government officials and the Trump campaign. And we have the wink. We have the moment when Trump agreed to it. So, okay. In the following days, the president reached out to the Director of National Intelligence and the leaders of the Central Intelligence Agency, the CIA, and the National Security Agency, NSA, to ask them what they could do to publicly dispel the suggestion that the president had any connection to the Russia election interference effort. So Donald Trump wanted the fucking government to tell the American people that Donald Trump was exonerated. He was trying to find any way to cover his ass. And they wouldn't do it. Like Jeff Sessions bowed out. The CIA, the FBI wouldn't do it. Let's see, what else does it say? The president also twice called Comey directly, notwithstanding guidance from McGahn to avoid direct contacts with the Department of Justice. Comey had previously assured the president that the FBI was not investigating him personally, and the president asked Comey to, quote, lift the cloud, end quote, of the Russia investigation by saying that publicly. This is this is Robert Mueller's work. This is what he is talking. This is what he did, like his final service to the Americans. This is what he did. The president's termination of Comey. On May 3rd, 2017, Comey testified in a congressional hearing, but declined to answer questions about whether the president was personally under investigation. Within days, the president decided to terminate Comey. The president insisted that the termination letter, which was written for public release, state that Comey had informed the president that he was not under investigation. The day of the firing, the White House maintained that Comey's termination resulted from independent recommendations from the Attorney General and the Deputy Attorney Generals that Comey should be discharged for mishandling the Hillary Clinton email investigation. So they wanted to say, Donald Trump wanted to say that the reason why Comey was being fired was because of the way that he was handling the Hillary Clinton email investigation. They didn't like what he was doing. But that's not the truth. But the president had decided to fire Comey before hearing from the Department of Justice. The day after firing Comey, the president told Russian officials that he had faced great pressure because of Russia, which had been taken off by Comey's firing. The next day, The president acknowledged in a television interview that he was going to fire Comey regardless of the Department of Justice's recommendation, and that when he decided to just do it, he was thinking that this thing with Trump and Russia is a made-up story. End quote. In response to a question about whether he was angry with Comey about the Russia investigation, the president said, "As far as I'm concerned, I want the thing to be done absolutely properly." Really. Adding that firing Comey might even lengthen out the investigation. So Donald Trump fucking fired Comey, tried to lie and say it was about Hillary Clinton. Wasn't about Hillary Clinton. Tried to lie and say it was about the recommendation for the Department of Justice, but it wasn't. He fired Comey because Comey wouldn't stop investigating Russia. Do you see how it all comes together? Do you see? Like, we knew this already. It's not a new thing. It's not new information. Just, like, Americans just don't care. People didn't vote for Donald Trump because he has integrity and because he's a good guy who speaks the truth. They voted for him because he's a racist like they are. And he gives them permission to be racist. That's the way it is. You know what? Before I do this part, I want to change these tracks to be more aesthetically pleasing. How would you do that? With slabs. Slab it up. Man, my mouse is so... I don't know if it's dirty. I don't know what the deal is. Anyways. Okay, let me continue, right? Because we're not here to play Minecraft. The appointment of special counsel and the efforts to remove him. So, on May 17th, 2017, the acting attorney general for Russia investigation appointed a special counsel to conduct the investigation and related matters. The president reacted to news that a special counsel had been appointed by telling advisors that it was the end of his presidency and that demanding that Sessions resign. Sessions submitted his resignation, but the president ultimately did not accept it. The president told aides that the special counsel had conflicts of interest and suggested that the special counsel therefore could not serve. The president advisors told the asserted conflicts were meritless and had already been considered by the Department of Justice. So Donald Trump is trying to keep Jeff Sessions into the position, even though Jeff Sessions wants to get out. On June 14th, 2017, media reports that the special counsel's office was investigating whether the president had obstructed justice. Press reports call this a, quote, major turning point in the investigation. While Comey had told the president he was not under investigation, following Comey's firing, the president now was under investigation. because Donald Trump fired Comey, he was now under investigation. So because of the president's own actions, he put himself under investigation. The president reacted to this news with a series of tweets criticizing the Department of Justice and the special counsel's investigation. On June 17, 2017, the president called McGahn at home and directed him to call the acting attorney general and say that the special counsel had conflicts of interest and must be removed. McGahn did not carry out the direction. However, deciding that he would resign rather than trigger what he regarded as potentially a Saturday night massacre. Ow. This bad gang came and attacked me from the darkness. Alright. Get out of here. Efforts to curtail the special counsel's investigation. 2 days after directing McGahn to have the special counsel removed, so Donald Trump is doing everything he can to stop this investigation from moving forward. That's his modus operandus. He does everything he can to delay and bury. That's what he does. So 2 days after directing McGahn to have the special counsel removed, the president made another attempt to affect the course of the Russia investigation. On June 19, 2017, the president met one-on-one in the Oval Office with his former campaign manager, Corey Lewandowski, the guy who, remember Lewandowski? A trusted advisor outside the government, and dictated a message for Lewandowski to deliver to Sessions. The message said that Sessions should publicly announce that, notwithstanding his recusal from the Russia investigation, the investigation was very, quote, very unfair, end quote, to the president. The president had done nothing wrong, and Sessions planned to meet with the special counsel and let him move forward with the investigating election meddling for future elections. For future elections. For future, not the one that just happened, but for future elections. Lewandowski said that he understood what the president wanted Sessions to do. It's that gangster talk, right? It's that gangster talk that they do. 1 month in another private meeting with Lewandowski on June 19, 2017, the president asked about the status of his message for Sessions to limit the special counsel's investigation to future election interference, not the one that just happened, but to future ones. Lewandowski told the president that the message would be delivered soon. Hours after that meeting, the president publicly criticized Sessions in an interview with the New York Times and then issued a series of tweets making it clear that Sessions' job was in jeopardy. Lewandowski did not want to deliver the president's message personally, so he asked senior White House official Rick Dearborn to deliver it to Sessions. Dearborn was uncomfortable with the task and did not follow through. I mean, it's pretty easy to see what the fuck is happening. Donald Trump is doing everything he can to stop the investigation into his connections into the into Russia, which we know will fucking exist. I mean, before I even keep going, right? I want you to look at what we know has already happened. Donald Trump has already taken sanctions off of Russia for the oil, saving their fucking economy. Donald Trump already knows that Russia is helping Iran target Americans and killing them. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. Donald Trump already knows this. He already knows that he's helping Russia. He doesn't care. Because in his mind, he's trading Iran for Ukraine. But he's not getting Iran. Just like Russia's not getting Ukraine. So it's fucking dumb. Anyways, like, he's done all these things to align the United States with Russia and against the democracies of the world. He's done all these things to align himself with the other major petrol power in the world. The only other, like, besides the Middle East, right? But the Middle East doesn't manufacture its own weapons. The Middle East doesn't have that technology. The Middle East buys its technology and its weapons and its security from other nations like Russia or China or the United States. Traditionally, it's been the United States. But, Russia's always like, trying to muscle in. Same thing with Russia. They want to muscle in and sell their components. I mean, same thing with Russia or Europe, right? They want to sell their fucking arms. It's a whole arms fucking deal, right? Whole arms deal, and it's all tied to oil, to protect oil. It's all tied to the protection of oil. You know what's something you cannot embargo? Sun. You cannot embargo the sun. You cannot stop the sun. Solar panels, you cannot stop. You cannot stop them. You cannot stop that energy. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. It's cheap. It's everywhere. You cannot stop it. You cannot embargo it. You cannot use it as a choke point to force nations to their knees. You can't hold power over other people by controlling their energy. Like, it's all about energy. I always come to that. Anyways, so like you see how Donald Trump aligns everything with oil, with hydrocarbons, everything. He's a bad guy. I don't know what else to tell you. Like, I keep warning you every day, every hour. I go to protests. Like, I went to the one at the gardens at the state capitol, and it was cherry blossoms going. It was really nice. A lot of people saw my sign. It was pretty vague, right? It's pretty vague so as to not be like too offensive to too many people. But then I was also allowed to exist without any like friction. It was smooth. It was smooth. Lube. It was lubed. Lubed for her pleasure. It was good. And yeah, no signs that were like jabbing into things, sticking and causing like a tear. No, none of that. It was all smooth. Everyone agreed. It was pressure for sure, but my yeah, this war doesn't serve the Americans at all. Doesn't serve us at all. We're a fucking glorified fucking security service. That's what we are. A glorified security service. Mercs for hire. It fucking sucks, man. Like all those things that our ancestors had fought for. That world in which might does not make right, in which territorial integrity was respected and maintained, so that there would not be fucking wars and battles anymore. So that we would not be pouring our fucking energies into creating more weapons of destruction. Like, the cost of the war, they want $200 billion for the war. That's like fucking food for like years. That saves entire departments of the government that had been defunded. It saves like tons of misery and suffering. That would have saved tons of misery and suffering. It would have been well-being and good invested into the American people. Instead, you put it into a fucking missile to blow up some fucking hut on the other side of the world to people that fucking have no fucking threat to us. Like, you want to talk about injustice? We fucking live in it. We're inside the fucking injustice system. A system of injustice. We have a machine of murder. And look at, we knew. Look at this report. All the red flags were there. It's like a ship full of red flags. Like every fucking all over the place red flags. But I guess for some people, like, they're willing to overlook everything. Everything. They'll overlook everything. If they're just touched in the right way, I guess. I don't know. If you just touch them the right way, they'll overlook everything. There's people like that. Maybe if I met someone who touched me in the right way, I would overlook everything too. Maybe. Like maybe I'm only able to be like, oh, woo 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 woo, because I haven't gotten a partner that was so amazing, that made me feel so good that I would give up everything for them. Maybe that's my bad, right? So, and then maybe that's what Donald Trump does for some Americans. He makes them feel so good that they don't give a fuck about anything else. He makes them feel so good they don't give a fuck. Like, yeah, now there's that famous video of that lady saying that now that she's at the gas pump pumping expensive like 450 gallon gas, now she feels bad about voting for Donald Trump. Only now. Shit. Okay. Further efforts to have the Attorney General take control of the investigation. Let me go someplace safe, right? This isn't about Minecraft. There's a house for sale that has solar panels. If I want to put my money where my mouth is, I can do it. It's gonna have a shit ton of other things wrong with it. It's 1950s house, but they said all the things were done, the plumbing and everything else. And it has solar panels, and it's in a nice part of town. Man, I should just go drive by it, peek inside. I'm afraid the bathrooms aren't where they're supposed to be. Well, one bedroom is on its own. Hey, Golem, I'm gonna heal you. I only have a little bit, but that's all I need. There you are, healed. You're healed, Golem. Okay. What was I even doing? Okay, keep going. I hope my neighbor is able to play music and ignore me. Alright. Da 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 da. Where are we? Okay, next. In early summer 2017, the president called Sessions at home and asked again to have him reverse his recusal from the Russia investigations. Sessions did not reverse his recusal. In October 2017, the president met privately with Sessions in the Oval Office and asked him to take a look at investigating Clinton. In December 2017, shortly after Flynn pleaded guilty pursuant to a cooperation agreement, the president met with Sessions in the Oval Office and suggested, according to notes taken by a senior advisor, that if Sessions unrecused and took back supervision of the Russia investigation, he would be a hero. The president told Sessions, "I'm not going to do anything or direct you to do anything. I just want you to be treated fairly." In response, Sessions volunteered that he had never seen anything improper on the campaign and told the president there was a whole new leadership team in place. He did not unrecuse. So Sessions believed the hammer was going to come down on Donald Trump and didn't want to be there. He believed in America. So Donald Trump is trying to fucking get this thing to stop happening. Efforts to have McGahn denied that the president had ordered him to have the special counsel removed. In early 2018, the press reported that the president had directed McGahn to have special counsel removed in 2017, and that McGahn had threatened to resign rather than carry out the order. The president reacted to the news stories by directing White House officials to tell McGahn to dispute the story and create a record stating that he had not been ordered to have special counsel removed. McGahn told those officials that the media reports were accurate in stating that the president had directed McGahn to have the special counsel removed. The president then met with McGahn in the Oval Office and again pressured him to deny the reports. In the same meeting, the president also asked McGahn why he had told special counsel about the president's effort to remove the special counsel and why McGahn took notes of his conversations with the president. You taking notes on a criminal fucking conspiracy? McGahn refused to back away from what he remembered happening and perceived the president to be testing his mettle. Like if any of this happened to Biden or Clinton, if Clinton had been meeting with the Chinese, they would be all over it. If Clinton refused, if Clinton people had met secretly with Chinese officials to help Clinton win the presidency in exchange for Clinton giving China Taiwan, you would fucking believe Republicans would be super angry. But they're not. They, now that the situation's been reversed, they're not. So it's not the principle, right? Republicans aren't principled people. It's not about the principle. They don't actually care about anything. It's just what gets them power for their preferred ideology. Then you got to think, well, what is their preferred ideology? That is white supremacy. I just want to, like, it's not that long. We're not going to read the whole report, right? Just the summary parts. So, conduct toward Flynn, Manafort, and Stone. So Donald Trump this whole time is trying to get his attorney general to flip, to join the conspiracy, to overthrow the government, and Sessions won't do it. Now he's trying to get the attorney general to stop the investigation into him and get the come on, man. and McGahn won't do it, and so he already fired James Comey for not ending the Russia investigation. So, like, all over the place, right? All over the place. Donald Trump is trying to affect the outcome of what's going on. It's not independent investigation at all. The entire time, Donald Trump is trying to wreck it. You know what? Hey, can I make it longer? Yeah. Okay. Conduct toward Flynn, Manafort, and Stone. Now, Flynn, Manafort, and Stone are his co-conspirators. They're his contacts with the Russian government. Donald Trump never directly contacts the Russian government. Never directly. It's always through intermediaries like Flynn, Stone, and Manafort. So, conduct toward Flynn, Stone, and Manafort. After Flynn withdrew from a joint defense agreement with the president and began cooperating with the government, the president's personal counsel left a message for Flynn's attorney reminding them of the president's warm feelings toward Flynn, which he said still remains, and asking for a heads up if Flynn knew information that implicates the president. So in other words, it sounds like Michael Flynn had flipped and was cooperating with the government. So the president reached out to Flynn to let him know, hey dude, I know you're fucking telling a story and that you haven't really flipped, but let us know, like, keep us in the know so we can, like, keep our shit straight. When Flynn's counsel reiterated that Flynn could no longer share information pursuant to a joint defense agreement, the president's personal counsel said he would make sure that the president knew that Flynn's actions reflected hostility toward the president. Because remember, Donald Trump wants loyalty. During Manafort's prosecution and when the jury in the criminal trial was deliberating, the president praised Manafort in public, said that Manafort was being treated unfairly, and declined to rule out a pardon. Which he got. After Manafort was convicted, the president called Manafort a brave man for refusing to break, and that said that flipping almost ought to be outlawed. And Roger Stone publicly announced that he would not cooperate with prosecutors. The president called Stone very brave and said he had guts for not testifying against Trump. So in other words, Donald Trump is promising all these people pardons in public for not cooperating with the investigation against Donald Trump. Okay, conduct. Michael Cohen, dude. Here, all right, that's the last one of the dudes. Michael Cohen is Donald Trump's personal lawyer, or was. The president's conduct toward Michael Cohen, a former Trump Organization executive, changed from praise for Cohen when he falsely minimized the president's involvement in Trump Tower Moscow's project to castigation of Cohen when he became a cooperating witness. From September 2015 to June 2016, Cohen had pursued the Trump Tower Moscow project on behalf of the Trump Organization and had briefed candidate Trump on the project numerous times, indicating discussions whether Trump should travel to Russia to advance the deal. In 2017, Cohen provided false testimony to Congress about the project, including stating that he had only briefed Trump on the project 3 times and never discussed travel to Russia with him, in an effort to adhere to a party line that Cohen said was developed to minimize the president's connection to Russia. While preparing for his congressional testimony, Cohen had extensive discussions with the president's personal counsel, who had, according to Cohen, said that Cohen should stay on message and should not contradict the president. After the FBI searched Cohen's home and office in 2018, the president publicly asserted that Cohen would not flip, contacted him directly to tell him to stay strong, and privately passed messages of support to him. Cohen discussed pardons with the president's personal counsel and believed that if he stayed on message, he would be taken care of. But after Cohen began cooperating with the government in the summer of 2018, the president publicly criticized him, called him a rat, and suggested that his family members had committed crimes. So there's a clear pattern of Donald Trump telling people in the investigation to I'm gonna get coffee, man. To stay strong and to not flip on Donald Trump. And certain people didn't believe that Donald Trump would take power. They thought the Americans would fucking flip out and say, "Oh, we don't want this guy as our president," and then he would be that all the people associated would be punished, and they didn't want to be associated with that, so they quit. Sessions, Cohen flipped. Rather than go to prison, he flipped. These other guys, Manafort and Stone and them, they never flipped, but they got caught in lies to protect Donald Trump. Like, for instance, Paul Manafort gave Konstantin Klimnik a hard drive full of information so that the Russians, well, can do what they want with it. But we all know what they did with it was to target the American uh, election to help Donald Trump win the presidential election. And if you look at videos of Donald Trump winning, he's not fucking happy. He's fucking amazed. Like, he can't believe it happens. He's like, he can't believe it happens. Everyone around him is super happy, and he's like fucking like, oh my god. Overarching factual issues. We did not make a traditional prosecutorial decision about these facts, but the evidence we obtained supports several general statements about the president's conduct. Several features of the conduct we investigated distinguish it from typical obstruction of justice cases. First, the investigation concerned the president, and some of his actions, such as firing the FBI director, involved factually lawful acts within his Article 2 authority, which raises constitutional issues discussed below. At the same time, the president's position as head of the executive branch provided him with unique and powerful means of influencing official proceedings, subordinate officers, and potential witnesses, all of which is relevant to a potential obstruction of justice analysis. Second, unlike cases in which a subject engages in obstruction of justice to cover up a crime, the evidence we obtained did not establish that the president was involved in an underlying crime related to Russia election interference. Although the obstruction statutes do not require proof of such crime, although the statutes do not require proof, the absence of that evidence affects the analysis of the president's intent and requires consideration of other possible motives for his conduct. So it's saying that it could be plausible that, oh shit, my thing's like. So he's saying it could be plausible that Donald Trump did this for not bad reasons. It's possible. You have to make that possibility. You guys saw my fucking messy ass apartment, and you're still seeing it because this thing is pulling. Why are you pulling? Oh, because I turned ever so slightly my thing here. What if I move the whole thing? Closer to the edge. Man, I'm fucking up everything. You see what little sliver of a window I have, right? Oh shit, it's all fucked up. Everything's wrong. And now I see that my it's not straight. Need to turn it. Well, here, turn it. Which way do I turn it? Alright. And then, like, focus it on me now. To me, mama, I just killed a man. Put a gun against his head. Pulled my trigger, now he's dead. Mama, life had just begun. Now I've gone and thrown it all away. Mama, ooh, didn't mean to make you cry. If I'm not back again this time tomorrow, carry on. Carry on, because nothing really matters. All right. Did I get this? Did I fix it, man? That was pretty gnarly. Ooh, now it's different angle. Not quite the same. Not quite the same angle anymore. I'm not slouching. I can't slouch. Ooh, get the coffee. Yeah. You see how shady this guy is? Remember, like, here. What's the original story that I told before? Donald Trump's a failure. He's a failure. He's a failed businessman. He bankrupted 4 casinos, and in the 80s he had nothing. He had no fucking money. He was in debt. He was fucking broke, and he met with a bunch of fucking Russian mobsters, and sold his soul. He in exchange for money, he would run properties to launder Russian money or criminal money. He would launder, and then he would make money off of it. Oh shit. I'm dying. I would be dying, but oh, that's funny. From two blocks away he can get me, and I can't get him. I'm wearing thorns. Oh, thorns, even from here. Bitter coffee, bitter. It's bitter, man. It's bitter stuff, let me tell you. Second, unlike cases in which a subject engages in obstruction of justice to cover up crimes, Third, many of the president's actions directed at witnesses, including discouragement of cooperation with the government and its suggestions of possible future pardons, took place in public view. That circumstance is unusual, but no principle of law excludes public acts from the reach of obstruction laws. If the unlikely effect of public acts is to influence witnesses or alter their testimony, the harm to the justice system's integrity is the same. Although the series of events we investigated involved discrete acts, the overall pattern of the president's conduct toward the investigations can shed light on the nature of the president's acts and the inferences that can be drawn about his intent. In particular, the actions we investigated can be divided into 2 phases, reflecting a possible shift in the president's motives. The first phase covered the period from the president's first interactions with Comey through the president's firing of Comey. During that time, the president had been repeatedly told he was not personally under investigation. Soon after the firing of Comey and the appointment of the special counsel, however, the president became aware that his own conduct was being investigated in an obstruction of justice inquiry. At that point, the president engaged in a second phase of conduct involving public attacks on the investigations, non-public efforts to control them, and efforts in both public and private to encourage witnesses not to cooperate with the investigations. Judgment about the nature of the president's motives during each phase would be informed by the totality of the evidence. So defenses. I don't want to hear the defenses. This is the legal framework. I don't want to go over the legal framework. Man, come on. That's the results. Is there not like a quick one? Dude, this would take forever. I gave you like the short version. What they need to do is make a drama about this. This whole thing would make a great drama. Look how long this is, man. Here, hold on. Look at the table of contents again. What's his overarching factual issues? Man, this thing is super, like, dense. It's hard to understand. I give up, right? If Donald Trump ever went to trial, he would be found guilty. But he was never taken to trial because the Americans fucking made him president. And now he's destroying the government. But that's what they wanted, right? That's what they wanted. That's why they voted for him. Well, no, they didn't vote for him for that. They voted for him so they can be racist. And the thing is, they're probably not even conscious of that. But that's what it boils down to. They voted for him so they could be racist. And now that it's affecting them personally, through their pocketbook, through the gas, now it finally becomes a problem. Nothing else mattered until it affected them personally. That's a human being with a lack of culture and empathy. Not even culture, just empathy. A lack of empathy. If nothing matters until it affects you personally, then you don't have empathy. You lack empathy. All right. Empathy is a good thing. Like I know what's this fucking Andrew Tate, the rapist. I know Andrew Tate, the rapist, says empathy is a bad thing, but he's wrong. Empathy is fucking amazing. You want to be empathetic. You want to be able, because I mean, think about it, dude. That's just one more way of feeling. Like, who wouldn't want that? What's one more sense? Who wouldn't want more senses? Like, who wouldn't want a way to know the world better? Like, who wouldn't want that? It just boggles my mind that someone would be like, oh wow, like a way to understand the world better, like to feel in a new way. Like, I don't want that. Crazy people, man. What the fuck is wrong with you? How long have I been streaming? Hour and a half. My machine hasn't crashed. Oh, it didn't want to start today. Did I tell you that? It didn't want to start. And I was freaking out. I unplugged everything and now it's working again, but still. Oh shit, I was flipping out. I'm like, how am I going to buy a new computer? What am I going to do until it gets here? I'm going to go a week without any computer. Like, how am I going to handle that? Like, holy shit. Yeah, I have a work computer, but like, that's for work, man. I'm not I'm not trying to like do anything on that. Especially now, you know? Bad enough it's on my network. Yeah, I don't want to really buy a new. I want to buy a new computer because I see all the mistakes I made with my current one. But my current one works really good still. And the mistakes are not so bad that it stops the machine from working. And I'm like, house payment, like down for a house or a computer. Like I can get a house if I want to live out in the middle of buttfuck nowhere. The prices are coming down. I think that's what I need. I need the prices to come down. The interest rate for mortgages are going up. But you can refinance a mortgage. What I should have did was put torches next time, right? Let me tell you, I am eating iron. To make this project, it just eats iron. People don't want to believe it. They just don't want to believe it. It's too horrible to believe that it could be true. They're like, no, no, you're lying, you're lying. It can't be. It can be. It is B. Whoa. Bright. I was up above it. Yeah, I can't handle all the terrible stuff happening. What was I doing? Sure, on both sides, why not? What a good idea. Why choose one side? I choose them both. Yeah, what a good thing's happening. Man, I didn't even leave the house yesterday. I kind of did, but not really. I bought some soap. Nice smelling soap. That's about it. I went to a protest. I told you that already. I don't have a life, man. I go to work all day, dudes. Like, and then after work, I play video games and stay home. Like, I need to get out of the house. I need to join like a club or something. Like hiking or something. Listen to me, bitch. Man, I need to live in an apartment downtown so that when I don't have anything to do, I just go downtown to the corner and drink coffee and smoke something, smoke a joint or something. And then I'll probably find somebody. And then we can do some cool things together. I don't know what. That's what I used to do. That's what I did when I was young. Like a long time ago. I don't think I can reproduce that. Maybe like I can try to reproduce it, but like do I want to? Yeah, I want to, man. Remember your neighbors? They were fucking way older than you. It was great, man. What are like I always I think about that a lot. I'm like what are the turning points of my life? And I think one of the turning points was me going to Japan. Like had I not gone to Japan, I would have stayed in my artist loft in Reno and lived a different life. I don't think I would have left Reno. Woulda, shoulda, coulda. Japan was pretty cool. And then after Japan, I worked at the state legislature, at the Nevada state legislature, which, you know, is pretty cool. It's pretty cool, man. Oh, I see the problem. Eh? Oh no! No, it has to be a full block, man. But then it breaks. Oh, shit on me. Alright, so let's see. How are we gonna do this? And then need one more here. You can't do it. And it's yes, but damn. Oh man. I'm just repeating the same mistake over and over again. Okay, and then this has to be a square, a red one. Okay, that works. Gotta like clean it up. Oh no, I missed one. I missed 2, 3. Ooh. Not this one. No. So yeah. Yeah. That's it. Ooh, Nelly. All right. So I want to put in like columns, but that's a lot, and I don't want to have to like fall to my doom every time. So what I'm gonna do is I'll sand. Well, I'd have to have an expansion somehow. I have all the sand. Why not put the sand there? Oh, my fucking finger is hurting. Okay. Get out of here. Ow. Robert Mueller provided a framework for the government to fucking go after Donald Trump. And they did not. What? I've never seen that. It's an undead zombie? Really? That's crazy. Oh, and you converted a villager. Unfortunately. Sorry, dude. It's just an undead fucking... Is it hostile on me? Can I ride it? Why do I want an undead zombie fucking... Get out of here. I didn't know they made those now. Oh my god. Okay, okay, here, I was making this. You want to be booted off here, man. No, not here. How can we make this? No. You're already connected. There you go, like that. But you need space to get kicked off. And I want this to be powered. And this to be powered. Oh, here we go, like that. 1, 2. Yes. And then that one is actually a dispenser. A dispenser in my bag. I prepared for all of this. Ha 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 ha. A cactus. Some sand. Some string. Dispenser. Hoppers. Observers. Alright. You're a dispenser. Going straight up. Alright. You are a piece of anything. Ha ha ha, zombie. Ha ha ha. Oh no, I forgot the sticky piston. No sticky piston for me, dude. Oh man, I knew I forgot something. I knew I forgot something. Well, shit. Yeah, buddy, that sucks for you. Okay, anyways. Where's this going? Sand. sand in the place where you live. Use a broom. Think about direction, wonder why you have it. Inertia. I made some pretty fucking hardcore turns. I did that shit. I need like sandstone, man. Where's all your sandstone, buddy? This is sand. Smooth sandstone. Sure. Stone, you say? Alright. I need the piston, homie. Without the piston, this is not working. Then I need how do you make a rail that's a little bit different? That one, activator, redstone torch. Activator rail. Ha ha ha. That's funny. I think that hopper is still okay too. Yep. Yep, it's still okay. Nice rail. or nice like power. Alright, well, I'm missing the key sticky piston. Does this work? It appears to work so far. Pretty nice. Cleared a lot of sand. Pretty nice. Pretty neato, man. Neato mosquito. Hey, it still works. I hadn't finished that part yet. All right. Gonna need to like label these though, right? This is on the top, the first top one. Okay. That's the first one, right? Yes. This goes to Spider Village. I'm gonna call it Spider Village. Okay. Nice. And then I have another one. I think it's this one. Yeah. Because it goes out that way. This one goes to what's the thing about that one? Nothing. It's just a desert village. Okay. I officially have 2 places to go now. Enderman, you can ruin my stuff. Enderman, where are you? I'll take your pearls. Yes, your ender pearls. That's what I need to do next, is go to the end. I have carpeting now. Ooh, I should also like keep working on my desert temple. Make it like not desert, my jungle temple. Make it cool. I'm not interested in what it can do. No. I'm not interested in what it was designed to do. I'm interested in what it can do. Ha ha ha. Alright, until next time. Peace. But go get it out. Yeah, Robert Mueller tried to told us all about how bad is Donald Trump. So rest in peace, Robert Mueller. Fuck Donald Trump. Alright. Peace. Stop.